You are watching Reddit Revenge and this new Today story. When my girlfriend moved into her new apartment, she was excited. The location was perfect. Closer to her sister, closer to me, and the rent was reasonable. Like anyone settling into a new place, one of the first things she wanted was stable internet. She wasn't a tech wizard, but she knew her basics. So when she signed up with the ISP, she made sure to ask all the right questions. Is the Wi-Fi secure right out of the box? Do I have to worry about that admin/admin default nonsense? The support rep chuckled, assured her everything was fine, and promised, just plug it in, press the button, and you're good. It's secure by default. Fast forward a few months and things seemed fine, until she noticed her video calls to her family in Japan began to lag. The first time, she blamed the weather. The second time, maybe her laptop. But by the third week of pixelated faces and dropped calls, she knew something was off. She did what any sensible person would. She asked me for help. I've worked in IT for 3 decades. For me, sniffing out tech issues is like a chef tasting soup. I'll know if something's rotten instantly. I didn't know it yet, but this was about to be more than bad internet. This was going to end with neighbors moving out and a relationship shattered. When she called, she was polite, almost apologetic. I know you're busy, but could you maybe look at my Wi-Fi? I think something's wrong. To me, this was a gift. A chance to flex my geek skills and score some relationship points at the same time. I packed my toolkit, grabbed a pizza, and went over. The issue was obvious within an hour. Her laptop wasn't the culprit. Her cables were fine. The ISP line had a steady connection. But the router logs, that's where the truth screamed. There were devices connected that didn't belong. Unknown MAC addresses hitting her network every day, sucking down bandwidth like starving animals. Someone was leeching her Wi-Fi. At first I thought, maybe a neighbor guessed her password? But when I dug deeper, I realized the ISP had done something unbelievably stupid. Yes, the router wasn't admin/admin. It was worse. The SSID, the visible name of the Wi-Fi, was also the default password. If her network was called ISP 50321, then the password was literally ISP 50321. Anyone walking by could connect just by looking at the sticker. I was furious. My girlfriend's privacy wasn't just compromised. Her entire network was wide open, and whoever had taken advantage of it wasn't just watching YouTube, they were roaming her digital living room. That wasn't something I was going to let slide. I explained everything to her, and her eyes widened. Wait, so they can see my computer? My files? I nodded gravely. Potentially, yes. Luckily, you keep your shares off and don't have weird IoT devices. But if you did, they'd be snooping around already. She covered her mouth, horrified. To her, this wasn't about bandwidth, it was about invasion. So what do? That's when I made my pitch. We replace this toy with a real router. A Zixel, same as mine. We'll link our homes, set up a VPN, secure it properly. No more freeloaders. She agreed. We split the cost, professional gear isn't cheap, and ordered it. But I wasn't done. Her current ISP box might have been a piece of junk, but it had one redeeming feature: logging. I enabled detailed Wi-Fi logs, plugged in a big USB stick, and started recording everything. Day after day, the culprits revealed themselves. They weren't casual. They were daily users, hammering the line at peak hours. I studied their browsing habits, noted the domains they loved most, and smiled to myself. If they wanted to trespass, then they'd learn what it meant to step into a geek's house uninvited. The new router was on the way. In the meantime, I was already planning their punishment. The day the Zixel arrived felt like Christmas. I set up 2 networks, one hidden, secure, and ours alone, and another that looked identical to her old Wi-Fi. To the neighbors, nothing changed. They thought they still had their free ride. But under the hood, this clone network was a trap. I throttled it so the speed was painfully slow, just enough to frustrate. Then I configured DNS overrides. For those who don't know, DNS is the phone book of the internet. It translates reddit.com into numbers computers understand. Override it and you can make bank.com lead to whatever site you want. I had their logs, so I knew their habits. One bank redirected to hardcore porn that popped on screen without warning. Another pointed to a kitschy lesbian site full of scissors and stockings cliches. Their favorite shopping site? That one now forwarded to a relationship counseling page. When trust is broken, call us. But my masterpiece was the randomizer. Every so often, no matter what site they requested, the router would serve up the digital equivalent of a horror jump scare. Disgusting images you can never unsee. It wasn't illegal. It wasn't a hack. But it was unforgettable. My girlfriend winced when I explained. That's cruel. I shrugged. They trespassed. They chose the rules of this game. Then came the waiting. The first day, their traffic spiked like usual. Morning news, banking, shopping. And then bam, redirect. My logs showed frantic disconnects, reconnects, retries. Day 2, same pattern, but now their devices lingered less, like they were nervous. Day 3, the counseling redirect triggered, and I swear I could hear muffled shouting through the wall. Arguments aren't subtle. You can hear the rhythm even if you can't hear the words. I throttled the clone Wi-Fi even further, making streaming impossible. Now their free internet was slow, filled with viruses of embarrassment, and occasionally hijacked by grotesque surprises. My girlfriend was both horrified and fascinated. What if they complain to the ISP? She asked. Then the ISP will tell them the same thing they told you. It's secure out of the box. We laughed at the irony. By day 4, their traffic had plummeted. They were either scared or too ashamed to keep using it. But the real storm was just beginning. We didn't know it yet, but our prank had ignited a firestorm behind their closed door. And once it started burning, there was no putting it out. A few days later, my girlfriend came home to see a moving van parked outside. She thought nothing of it until she realized it was the neighbors 2 doors down, the same ones who'd been feasting on her Wi-Fi. Later, her direct neighbor filled her in. Apparently, the couple had gotten into vicious fights. The accusations flew. Why are these sites in the history? Why is the bank page showing porn? Are you messing with me? One accused the other of hacking the internet. The more they argued, the worse it got. When the counseling redirect appeared, it was like fate mocking them. They tore into each other, convinced the other was lying, sneaking, cheating. Trust shattered. Reason vanished. The fight escalated so badly that within days they decided to split. Their shouting was loud enough to echo through walls. One stormed out, the other packed boxes. And then the moving truck swallowed what was left of their home. My girlfriend told me, half shocked, half amused, they're gone. Your little prank blew up their entire relationship. I didn't regret it. They had trespassed. They had lied to each other. I just gave them the spark that lit the truth. Now, to be clear, I didn't intend to destroy a relationship. My goal was simple. Protect my girlfriend, secure her network, and teach freeloaders a lesson. But when people trespass, they gamble. Sometimes the punishment is light, sometimes it's devastating. This time, the consequences landed harder than expected. My girlfriend asked me if I felt guilty. I thought about it, then shook my head. They chose to steal. They chose to keep using it after days of misery. If they had been honest people, none of this would have happened. She nodded, though she admitted the aftermath shocked her. Still, she never argued. In her eyes, I had defended her, and she valued that more than any moral debate. Meanwhile, I reset the router, disabled the clone SSID, and cleaned up all the redirects. Our new hidden network hummed like a fortress. Her work as a 3D artist flowed smoothly. Her calls to Japan were crystal clear. The only echo from those weeks was the memory of shouting neighbors, and the moving van that carried them away. Months passed. My girlfriend still thanked me for the Zixel. It wasn't just Wi-Fi, it was peace of mind. She could work without fear of snoops, back up her projects directly to my NAS over VPN, and know her digital world was safe. But the memory of the prank lingered. Sometimes, while laughing about it with friends, she'd half whisper, "He redirected their bank to porn." People gasped, laughed, then shook their heads in disbelief. I never bragged, but I never denied it either. And every time, I added the warning, "This is why you never freeload Wi-Fi. You don't know who owns the other side." Because truthfully, what I did was relatively harmless. Another person could have set up phishing pages, stolen bank logins, or planted malware. Instead of porn, counseling sites, or horror memes, it could have been identity theft. The neighbors thought they were clever, sneaking internet. In reality, they were one wrong geek away from losing everything. They learned the hard way. I hope they never made the same mistake again. The story became a kind of parable. Anytime a friend complained about bad internet or nosy neighbors, my girlfriend would chime in, "Don't mess with his networks. He'll make you see things you can't unsee." And I'd laugh, but deep down, I knew she wasn't wrong. The lesson wasn't just for them, it was for us too. That we live in a world where privacy is fragile, where digital doors are left unlocked too often, and where one careless ISP configuration can blow up more than just a connection, can blow up trust. I'll admit, part of me enjoyed the chaos. Hearing about their screaming match, imagining them blaming each other for hacking the internet. It was darkly satisfying. But another part of me filed it under lessons learned. Always secure your devices. Always question default safe. And never assume that stealing comes without risk. The digital world has consequences, just like the physical one. Sometimes worse. In the end, my girlfriend gained more than fast internet. She gained a safe workspace, peace of mind, and proof that I'd protect her no matter what. I gained a story that still makes people laugh, wince, and shake their heads. And the neighbors? They gained a breakup and a moving bill, all because they couldn't resist free Wi-Fi. Do I regret it? Not a bit. They rolled the dice. I just changed the rules of the game. Now I want to hear from you. What would you have done in my place? Block them quietly, confront them directly, or give them the DNS nightmare I served up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading. If you enjoyed the story, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one. And share this video with someone who loves a clever revenge story. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp.